In this video, I built a civilization from absolutely nothing. But in order to really see how, we need to go all the way back. Back to day 1, where it all started. So please, grab some food, get something to drink, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Day 1 started in a tree. I grabbed some cherries and climbed down to start my journey. I made a boat and set off, finding an abandoned ship. Well, an almost abandoned ship. A couple of rabbits watched me take whatever it had left. Not far away, I found a shipwreck, and this one had way better loot. While I was checking my map, a shark came after me. Luckily, I was faster. I kept going on foot and searching for a place to call home. I needed it to be flat to put my civilization. I found an old fort, but the pillagers there weren't very friendly. I guess the pillagers anywhere aren't very friendly. Then I came across an abandoned village, covered in cobwebs and crawling with slime. On day 2, I found another village, but this one had witches living in it. That's when I found a quiet spot by a river with a waystone. I placed a chest and decided that this would be the start of my civilization. I set down my supply ship, found the town hall block, and placed it. One day it would be a beautiful building, but for now, it was just a block. I went back on the ship and grabbed the rest of the supplies. Soon after, colonists started arriving, but so did zombies. Without the gear to fight, I went to sleep, hoping my colony would survive the night. On day 3, I crafted and placed my first builder's hut. I needed it to start building anything, ironically. That included the builder's hut itself. After placing it, I crafted a clipboard and a resource scroll, because my citizens were going to be very needy and I'd have to keep track. One of the mods that I added in this pack was Cobblemon. Later in the video, you'll meet someone who was very happy I added it. I don't know much about Pokemon, but this one looked weak, so I decided to fight it with my Litten, the Pokemon I chose to start with. Things did not look good, so I tried to run away. That didn't work either. I finished the fight the only way I was comfortable, with my sword. My Litten fainted, but I avenged him. Shortly after, I went into a cave near my camp. There were a few zombies, but nothing bad. This was the first time using the FTB mod, and collecting ore felt amazing. I could run through entire veins within seconds, so I was in the mines literally all night. On day 4, I noticed villagers were being killed by pillagers from the fort, so I went up and dealt with them. After that, I started supplying my builder with the resources he needed to build his hut. This was the first time that I helped with resources, and it wouldn't be the last. I even helped clear out some of the grass and flowers for him. As his day was ending, I decided to start a mine near camp, knowing I could use the FTB mod to gather supplies quickly. But before night fell, I made sure to go to sleep because I had colonists to protect. Day 6 began like the last, collecting wood, supplying my builder, and fighting a few Pokemon. My builder soon requested a material I hadn't seen before: framed stripped oak wood. I had no idea how to make it. What I didn't realize was the answer was staring right at me. It could be crafted in the architect's cutter. Instead of easily spotting that, I went all the way back to my ship, searching for that block. And that's where I found the architect's cutter. Even then, I still didn't know the recipe. After a lot of trial and error, I finally crafted what I needed and gave the builder everything to finish his hut. Before night fell, I added a few torches to my camp. Placing torches helped keep darkness at bay and prevented mobs from spawning, protecting my colonists. That's when I found a zombie villager. It was a quick fight, but it reminded me of what could happen to my own people if I wasn't careful. I went to bed that night thinking about that zombie villager. After about a week playing, on day 7, the builder's hut was finally complete, and construction on the town hall had begun. Out of nowhere, a deer I thought was harmless charged at me, nearly ending my life. But luckily, I survived. After recovering, I helped my builder clear out more grass around the site. Then I checked the resource scroll for the town hall, and it was clear it was going to be a much bigger project than my simple builder's hut. I was ready to head into the mines to start gathering what I needed, but then I remembered what happens when I'm underground during the night, so I decided to go to sleep first. On day 8, I headed to the mines. On my way down, I got jump scared by a cave enderman, which turned out to be surprisingly weak. After mining for a while, I stumbled across a spawner. I noticed a name tag through the wall and decided to investigate it. It ended up being a mini boss mob. I turned him into XP and bones and then looted the spawner room, which didn't have anything worth keeping, so I kept mining until it was time to head up and sleep before night fell. Day 9 was just some minor progressions. Supplying my builder with blocks, smelting iron, planting saplings, fighting more cave endermen, and mining more iron. That night, I ended up sleeping in the mines. Day 10, I discovered a mine shaft, but still found nothing valuable. On top of that, I got lost, so I decided to dig straight up and make my way back home. Day 11 was a wood collecting day. I realized I needed a ton for future builds. I also decided to add a tavern to my colony. In real life, a tavern is just a place for people to drink and gather. But in mine colonies, it's where my colonists can sleep safely at night. In case I forget to sleep, this would help keep them alive. The next morning, I smelted some iron and gathered stone to make some stone bricks. In mine colonies, you can't just hand over basic materials. Many blocks required multiple crafting steps, and the more advanced the build, the more complicated the blocks get. It kind of reminded me how in history, discovering a new building material meant inventing faster ways to produce it. For me, that meant figuring out a faster way to smelt cobblestone in the future. While scavenging my supply ship for hidden loot, I ended up finding a gold block and an emerald one, which made me pretty happy. On day 12, I crafted a shield and decided to take out some pillagers that had been harassing me and my villagers earlier. There weren't many left, just a single 2-star pillager I cornered easily, and the loot was nothing special. Later, I built a campfire for a thumbnail, and that's when I noticed something terrible. By day 13, I realized I've been playing with the shaders disabled this whole time. I was so disappointed that I had recorded so much footage looking like this. Speaking of shaders, today's video was sponsored by no one. I only have 100 subscribers. This is purely a passion project, so please subscribe. Frustrated at my oversight, I spent the rest of day 13 and all of day 14 chopping wood and crafting for my builder. The last thing I needed for the tavern were beds, which somehow led to me dying to a Pokemon, taming a horse, and herding some sheep. It wasn't until the end of day 15 that I had finally handed my builder the last bed he needed. Day 16, I was getting impatient. The tavern was taking a while to finish, and the town hall hadn't even begun. I thought about getting a second builder, but decided to just upgrade the one I already had. While crafting blocks for the builder, I noticed a colonist had died to a witch, so I ran over immediately to try to take it out before it could kill more colonists, but I couldn't find it anywhere. That's when I checked the recipe for a guard tower. Realizing colonists could die even during the day, I crafted one and even cleared up a spot for it. But I wasn't sure if I wanted to commit to building it there because I thought guards only stayed near the tower. Later I'd find out that they actually roamed the entire village. As the sun set, beautiful fireworks signaled the tower was complete. I looked up to admire them, only for a random bird Pokemon to swoop in and attack me from behind. I ended up dying and then it flew away. I'm really starting to hate these dang Pokemons. With the tavern finished, I finally felt safer working during the night. So since I felt little to no progress was being made, I decided to work through the night crafting different blocks for the level 2 builder set. I think I was starting to understand the architect's cutter a bit more, but even as I'm recording this voiceover, I still am not sure if I get it. Later that night, our first visitor arrived, asking for cooked potatoes to join the colony. Visitors will start showing up once you place your tavern, but since we had no bed space or cooked potatoes, I couldn't recruit him. I remembered I had a backpack mod and checked the recipe for it. I needed leather, which I didn't have, so I took my horse to go get some. Shortly after, I crafted my backpack. On the morning of day 17, I just had to take a second to appreciate how beautiful the sky looked with shaders. I can't believe I spent 13 days without this. Later that day, I decided I wanted to farm. Well, not really farm, I just needed a jack-o'-lantern for my builder's hut. As the pumpkins grew, I got impatient, so I decided to fight this huge sea creature Pokemon. Milotin was probably 15 times smaller and way weaker than it, but I threw him into the fight anyways, just to see what would happen. He ended up getting one shot. If he was Pikachu, I would say that I got shocked by this. I harvested and replanted some sugarcane I was growing, then decided to head out on an adventure. While traveling with my horse, for some reason we both got poisoned and dropped to super low health. I revisited the cobweb village from earlier, looted a chest, and took their hay bales. Then I headed into a dry desert biome to get some sand, where my horse, already being on low health, died to a bush. A bush? How are you gonna let a bush take you out like that? Now on foot, I walked all the way back home. That night, I worked hard, fulfilling both builders' requests. I sort of liked gathering materials for them. It felt like I was doing a scavenger hunt, but I did not like crafting things in the architect's cutter. Half the time, I'd make the wrong item and have to start over. I ended up working through the night of day 17 into the morning of day 18 and realized my builder needed stripped jungle wood. I didn't have any of that, so I used a mod called Nature's Compass to find a jungle biome. It wasn't too far, but since I didn't have a horse anymore, I went on foot. I got sidetracked after spotting what I thought were cherry blossom trees on top of a mountain. I climbed all the way up, only to find out that it was just a spruce tree with pink leaves. Man. Eventually, I made it to the jungle, gathered wood, ate some bananas, and gave the builder everything he needed, except for a poppy and some grass. That's when I realized flowers and grass were something that I was also going to need to progress the colony, something that sounded a lot easier than it actually was. One of the most common requirements was poppies, those little red flowers that you use for dye. but they were surprisingly hard to find, and without much bone meal, it would take a while to get enough, but that's a future cash problem. Day 19, I placed my second builder's hut and learned that workers don't work in the rain, which is fair enough, I guess. Day 20, the rain finally stopped. I saw a rainbow stretching across the river. It reminded me of growing up in Hawaii. Rainbows were something I always loved seeing. This one looked pretty realistic, so it made me kinda happy. Day 21, another Pokemon attacked me, but this time I actually killed it. What, you want some too? My other builder's hut finally reached level 2. With one builder's hut at level 2, I spent days 22 and 23 running around gathering materials for both my builders. I ended up live streaming for the next 7 days for my friends to watch, so I didn't get a ton done. To sum it up, I herded some cows, crafted a ton of chests, and organized my base for like an hour. I got some cobblestone for my builders, and fought off a few Pokemon, which, by the way, my Litten was starting to get really strong. I had a few more moves that I unlocked on him. I planted and farmed some oak trees, and also some spruce ones. I organized more, breeded some animals, and tamed the second horse. While excavating, a colonist died to a spider, so I killed it and realized that if a colonist dies, the rest will not work the next day, and instead mourn that death. I also placed a forester. Today was day 30, and it was pretty special because that means I spent an entire Minecraft month of playing. But after spending 30 days in Minecraft with nothing but Pokemon and colonists, you start to get bored. So it's day 31 where I want to introduce the second phase of the civilization's progress. Side of me? Don't push me, don't push me. Like, come on each side of me. And then look straight. Look straight. Yeah. Look at... Yeah. Pen is looking perfectly. Look,
Yeah, well, I can't even freaking talk on my
No,
thing.
the stupid... Get out! Let me introduce you to some of my friends. Meet Emma, giraffe and Pokemon lover. She's the reason why I added Pokemon in the first place. So basically the main cause of many of my deaths. Meet Pen, builder, adventurer, and owner of Pentopia, a Shire-themed colony up the hill from me. And finally, Calvin. He's just a guy who likes Pokemon. This is also a good time to let you guys know that I lost a bit of footage. But I have my town hall built and I placed a farm that just got built. It was also day 35. I spent the entire day deep underground, mining away. That's when I found my first diamonds. And also got my first scare from the warden. That heartbeat sound? Yeah, not something I'll get used to. The FTB Ultimate mod made mining feel incredible. It literally felt like gambling. My pickaxe broke, but I used what I just mined to craft another, like reinvesting winnings in hopes of hitting the jackpot. But this mining mod burns through your hunger like crazy. I stumbled onto a ruined portal, mined it, and took it as a sign that the nether was in my near future. Back on the surface, my colony was hit with influenza. Somehow, a carrot and a potato fixed the entire outbreak. Wow. On day 37, I was back to work on the warehouse. My forester had become my MVP. Every evening, I'd check on him and he'd have a few stacks of wood waiting for me. Rain rode in on day 38, and with it, complete laziness from my colonists. I decided to upgrade a residence for an extra colonist, but I needed andesite, which was strangely rare in this biome. I was about to head to the nether for quartz to craft some when I found an entire cave made of andesite. Dangerous? Yes. Worth it? Absolutely. That night, I still built my nether portal and placed a stash and postbox nearby, because I wanted to be prepared when the warehouse was ready. By day 39, I still couldn't find diorite. So when I went through the portal for quartz, the nether was really risky, but I made it back alive. I spent the entire morning on day 40 crafting armor and getting ready to loot a bastion, but I was interrupted by a zombie playing creepy music, and it was absurdly strong. I stayed in the overworld during the day so my colonists could work, but later that night I ended up heading to the nether. Day 41 in the nether was chaos. I got lost, got caught on fire from lava, and then blocked myself in on instinct just to save my gear. I marked the portal and I retrieved my stuff. Luckily, one of the mods made it so my stuff stayed in a body and didn't just go everywhere. That was pretty nice. The bastion was pretty disappointing, but I did end up finding some netherite while I was mining. I ended up breaking both my pickaxes for it. When I made it back to the overworld on day 42, it was already night. By day 43, the warehouse was finally done. Day 44 brought the birth of a child, rumors of incoming raiders, and a whole lot of landscaping for my defenses. My farmer also handed me an absurd amount of potatoes. The next day, day 45, we had 2 children, more supply runs, and the loss of Luana. Raiders did attack, but we killed them really easily. Seeing the kids for the first time made me realize we desperately needed torches, and apparently a restaurant, because my colonists need to eat? What? This entire time I haven't been feeding them. I wonder how they survived. Day 46 was pretty sad. It ended up raining, so my colonists didn't want to work, but they also didn't want to work because they were mourning Luana. Win-win, I guess. And a 3rd child was born. Kids can't work until they grow up, so for now, I just had to wait. By day 47, the first child was all grown up, and on day 48, I don't really remember what happened. I moved my stash and postbox on day 49, and on day 50, the restaurant was finally finished. Days 51 to 53, all I put in my notes was eating steak. So, yeah, I guess that's what happened. Day 55, I saw another colonist death, which was pretty sad, but day 56, my Pokemon evolved. On day 59, I started the university, did some landscaping, and ended up visiting Pentopia. On day 60, I had another child, a finished residence, influenza for my courier, and a long run just to find poppies. Day 61 was all about upgrading the farm. Day 62 to 64, there was literally nothing but mining. By day 65, tragedy had struck. 2 colonists died from a witch attack, one being my farmer and the other being a courier. On day 66, I realized I'd gotten lazy. If I wanted to progress faster, I had to help them, so I made sure that the builders were completely stocked up with the resources that they needed. Day 67 was spent designing roads. Day 68 was still designing roads. By day 69, I gave up on them entirely just to start some new buildings. I made a mine and then immediately a witch spawned in my colony. I really needed guards. Day 70 was rough. I died to a super fast zombie and like a fireball spitting one. On day 71, I finished supplying my builders, worked on the roads again, and then survived another raider attack. These guys literally were so easy to kill. Day 71 was more roads, another influenza outbreak, and dwindling carrot supplies. Like, why do they have to eat carrots to cure the flu? I don't get it. I made an anvil on day 73, helped with the university on day 74, and by day 77, it was finally complete. Day 78 was all about the guard towers. Day 79 was all about the residents, and day 80 we researched a hospital. Day 81 was cobblestone gathering for the miners, and day 82 was a dangerous nether run, and I ended up dying a lot. By day 83, I built a temporary bridge across the river, and a super smelter for stone and charcoal, because I really needed that smooth stone. Day 84, I got jump scared by a skeleton while mining cobblestone for the builders. Day 85 was pure frustration. I spent ages crafting cobblestone shingles, only to mess them up. I really hate this architect cutter thing. Day 86 marked the first raid where I didn't have to defend at all. Day 87, I built an automatic cow farm, but before I was able to finish it, I needed to go to the nether for some glowstone. On day 88, I finally got the cows inside, but I was super exhausted. Day 89 was just total burnt out. On day 90, I found out Emma had cows, stole some wheat, and went to bed with an idea. By day 91, I moved most of my resources into the warehouse so that couriers could handle deliveries and I could just focus on crafting. Day 92 was nothing but helping my builders because I wanted to get a level 3 forester's hut and then eventually a sawmill so that I can get real automation. Day 93, I found poppies, finished builder's task, and started city planning for a residential area. On day 94, I looked over colonist jobs. On day 95, the hospital was finished and I watched the first patient get cured, which was a little weird. Also, on day 95, the warehouse was done too. Day 96, I placed torches outside Emma's base after running into another musical creeper. Luckily, the creepers here don't break any blocks. Then I ended up smelting some bricks for the forester's hut. Day 97, an Enderman was teleporting all over while my guards were just chasing it. It kind of felt like Tom and Jerry. I spent pretty much that entire day stripping some logs. Day 98, I loaded the smelter and my game crashed. I realized that I'd been playing for 5 hours straight. It was 2:26 a.m., but I still had to go to the nether and I was completely unprepared. I had barely any blocks. I died in lava and I somehow still got my stuff back. I guess the items don't really burn. At the end of this video, we're gonna run it fast. Grinding in the nether, making moments that last. Blaze rods in the bag, yeah, I pulled up with ease. But the skeletons came, dropped them to their knees. Locked down the spawner, kept the flames in line. Health ran low, but I'm still doing fine. Met another knight, first swing, had to fight. Built a little setup, now I own the knight. Scored another sword, yeah, the grind was insane. Found another eye shining bright in the flame. That's the run for today, but the future's looking bright, so hit subscribe for 69 likes.